craft and everything else. And we are
Will do.
live. Will
Hi.
do. Hi, Matthew. Thanks for joining me today for this unusual umbraCoffee, because this time I'm alone. And Callum, from what I've seen on Twitter, is playing on the roller coasters, eating sushi, drinking beer, and probably behaving like a kangaroo from bar to bar and from beer to beer. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Congrats, Callum. Great to great to see that.
Yeah, I've just seen the slingshot pictures of Shannon and Cole
Yeah.
going flying.
How's your week, Matt? Then are you also
Good.
jumping from bar to bar? Were you busy?
I wish I was jumping bar to bar. No,
Yeah.
busy. Would love to play with more V8, but it's just not happened yet. We'll get
Yeah,
there though.
you've mentioned that, so we can probably start from there. V8
Yeah.
V8 was released this Tuesday, and Umbraco also shared a great story about it. The great blog post which is kind of introduction of V8 with all the major new features and possible improvements from the editor's perspective, and not only. I had the chance to grab the NuGet package when it was just released. The installation was pretty smooth, and I've seen that some of those issues which I knew about in V8 were fixed till the release. So that's great to see that it's already good and stable, and we also seen some first websites done on V8. I was even surprised that some people already released something. But so Matt, you had the chance to play with V8 through some hackathons.
Yeah,
In the past, right?
early hackathons. Yeah. I noticed that like I say with the NuGet, there's now 3 NuGet packages instead of 2 as well.
Yes.
They've changed that layout, and that was quite interesting.
What's your favorite? I don't know. The killer thing,
Big change.
killer feature, a big change in V8.
I quite like the color scheme and like the whole new eye. And the top banner thing I really like as well. I'm still not. I mean, I'm trying not to judge the whole tab thing that people going against. It's like, well, I haven't played with it enough, getting it out to people to get enough opinions and build a proper site in it to actually go, yeah, this isn't right, or it is. But we'll find out in time, I'm sure. And
yeah, that was exactly my opinion, because I've played with it from the editor's perspective when I was playing with the V8, and I really liked the first I don't know impression of the hovering navigation thing. But some people raised a really good points about accessibility of it, about need of the click or hovering over on mobile devices. So it will definitely improve in time. And I even done some kind of prototypes when how I would maybe see it in the future, or where we can go with that, and just people can submit their ideas, and hopefully Umbraco will learn from different approaches and find the best one, because even according to the mission and the latest blog post on Umbraco, which said that it's simpler, not perfect, it will improve in time, and obviously
software's never done as well. It's always something you can do.
I remember how I was chatting with Rune one day in the past that I was bragging the quote saying that done is better than perfect, but then we said it's never done. So it's good is better than perfect, but it's never done. But when we are saying about that, we of course we've seen a great celebration from Umbraco. Niels built a Raspberry Pi button, which triggered the confetti system, and it was great to see the whole live stream around the release. There were some discussions with HQ members and people behind the V8, and that was a great show.
It's good stream.
I think that the big high five for Umbraco and for the whole team is well deserved, because that's a great milestone and great point in time to see that becoming a thing. And now just looking forward for more releases. And together with V8, we also seen the new identity being released, and we've teased that in the past umbraCoffees a couple weeks back, and the identity was also changed for our Umbraco. And I've seen that you did a pull request, even fixing some of the missing things, right? On our
I really like the new color scheme. Actually, it's a lot less garish in some ways than the orange and green. There was just it was just a couple of things in mobile where things have been not quite as they might want them to be, but
Yeah, I still have my legacy orange chair. You know,
I do like that chair. I think everyone's jealous of that chair, to be fair.
Everyone needs to change the wardrobe now because the color has changed. So yeah, sorry once again. But this blue is amazing. It's awesome, and it's really great to see this change. And the identity was also changed on the umbraco.com website. And I will just refresh to show this amazing animation here. Yeah, it's right now consistent. It's consistent across the portals, consistent across social medias as well. So it's amazing to see, and yeah, it's different, and this website is looking better and better. And amazing Emma, who was joining us last week. Cool. It's great to see where it will go. And people and agencies are already starting to be happy about it. And even Jeffrey from Perplex said that all of their new projects are starting using V8. And we also took the approach of selecting V8 as a base for at least one of our next websites, which we are starting really soon. And as I've mentioned earlier, some of the agencies and companies already released websites on V8, and Lee shared their agency website, which was upgraded meanwhile and released after the V8 public release. That's great to see, and it just proves that it works, it's stable, and it's kind of production ready.
Yeah, definitely. It's now want to get to a point where it's like we've had enough of a player internally to start giving it out to clients, and we will need to make sure we understand it before.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that other people have got to that stage already as well.
Yeah. And before going live, we've been chatting about finding time to play with V8, right? And some people definitely found more of this time. And that's
somebody is out finding that time.
That's good to see. And also, Carol shared a great slide, which is preparing for her next talk, and it's a folder structure of Umbraco directory in compared between V7 and V8, and the simplicity is also visible here. Not only you've mentioned the NuGet packages, the number of NuGet packages reduced, number of folders reduced. A lot of code base was just removed or cleaned. So that's not only simpler UI or simpler architecture, it's simplicity everywhere.
Yeah, as well. And one thing that I hadn't really thought about was with less files, that deployment time. But zipping up into your NuGet package and then deploying that through your CI is going to be faster because there's less files for it to handle.
Exactly.
Like the slowest part of it is creating a NuGet package because it has to do all those files. So seeing less files is even better.
Yeah, those small things can really improve the bigger processes, and puzzle to puzzle, it will solve a lot of issues. And so speaking about a lot other things related, so also not only product as an Umbraco really received some a lot of updates, but also the cloud interface was upgraded. Some of the features which were previously hidden or not visible through the UI were upgraded and exposed. So Soren shared, for example, the most annoying for him feature was to check deployment status by Kudu, via Kudu, and now it's fixed, it's exposed. But speaking about cloud, we cannot not mention the problems with the cloud, which were today taken care by the team on Umbraco HQ, and we had a statement being released because we've seen some issues with Umbraco. I don't know, Matthew, do you have any client sites or your sites on cloud currently?
I have a bit of involvement with High Five, and that's been down a little bit. But I think it's great that, I asked them an unrelated question to the hosting problems at like 9 o'clock last night, and I still got an instant reply back.
Yeah.
So although they are really busy and are fighting major fires, they're still really on it with their support. And I think that's something that needs to be pointed out, is that they're still responsive and they're not just black boxed. And it's good to see.
Yeah, we are all looking forward for any post-mortem note because I'm really curious what caused those types of issues, because first thing what we've checked was if Azure went down anywhere in the region. And
it'd be nice to know a bit more, wouldn't it? Really, just from a developer point of view, science, what went wrong.
this curiosity, because
Sure.
of course the software fails, servers fails, everything fails around. But yeah, it's good to see why. And of course, I mentioned on Slack, if I remember correctly, that sometimes when the high efficiency and availability is required, you cannot even be dependent from one cloud provider or from any single provider, single point of failure. So that's it's always important to analyze that and be prepared as much as you can be prepared. And I believe that Umbraco has a full hands of work right now, and they are solving issue for the whole time. And Niels also responded for some of the tweets just before we went live that it's not safe right now, not advised to go live with some sites in the next 3 hours. So hopefully it will be still being fixed, and we'll see the great postmortem note with all details, which will satisfy developers' curiosity.
I think it proves the point that how unstable it is that you have to take a screenshot of the message just in case it was down.
Yeah,
but yeah, at least it's there for everyone to find.
Yeah, but the site is up or was up when I was checking that. So that's this note is here. It was also sent via emails. So I believe that everyone who had or has a website on the cloud is now in the knowledge of the issues. And if it wasn't noticed by client or companies, it's there. Okay, so that's probably the saddest thing to discuss this week.
Here's some nice hot news for you. My pull request hour just got merged by Seb.
Ooh.
Just got an email through, so there you go.
And that's just the proof that we are really live. It wasn't recorded. Congrats! Yeah, great work. Okay, let's talk about something else, which was kind of live because it's just happening, and this is the UDUF. So festival down under, and just before we went live, I received a message from Callum saying that have fun, guys. Sorry I can't join, and he can just say that it is still great. Lots of knowledge being shared and some exciting times had. And I've been following activity on Twitter around UDUF, and even yesterday when I was getting asleep, it was just starting. So it was great to see that it's ongoing.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of amazing things shared there. Did you follow the activity about?
I've seen little bits, but I'm definitely looking forward to some of the videos coming out. Nathan's alphabetical packages looks really interesting. The testing stuff as well. So yeah, it'd be really good to see what comes out of that.
But I still don't know if it was recorded.
I hope so.
Yeah,
even if it's in some way.
Yeah, via phones, live streamed on social media. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea for the next events. But yeah, there is a lot of activity being shared, a lot of great photos, a lot of great topics, as you've mentioned. And I just wanted to refer to agenda shared by one of the speakers, Simon. So yeah, great speakers, great topics, testing Umbraco by Aaron, some great referrals to content apps, and not only new features, of course, keynote. And there was a panel to which I forgot finally to submit questions, but a lot of questions were answered by the HQ, Callum, and some other members who were gathered in the same room for the festival, and of course Niels brought some sweets there with a licorice taste on it. And besides that, we had a hackathon yesterday or 2 days ago, if we are speaking about European time. And 18 people from my notes were participating in the hackathon, and it was a portion of the pull request being submitted. And what's fun to see that all of those were V8 fixes or improvements, and some of them were just things which popped out during the week after some of the testing of V8 after the release. So hopefully, and I'm more than sure that the next week we will see, next week or the week after, we will see the first patch release with all of those fixes being merged.
I've got to say, doing the UK Fest hackathon this year for the first time, it was one of the best days. And if you've never done a hackathon, you should go to it. You'll learn far more than you thought you will, and you'll make Umbraco even better than it is. So go if you get an opportunity to do one. Sure.
And it's a great opportunity to just spend time with people who are sometimes an inspiration for us, I was learning a lot from people on hackathons because I can observe how they work, what tools they are using, how they approach solving problems. That was just like, amazing experience.
I met James for the first time in the UK one, and he was straight away looking at the unit tests. It's like I haven't really done much that kind of unit testing he was looking at, and just watching him and his process on that kind of stuff that I didn't know much about was really interesting, and I learned a fair bit just by being next to him, watching him occasionally, and asking him questions about what he was doing. So it's definitely a crowd. It's that lovely crowd source that we have, but in a room. So it's great.
And I've also picked some other tweets flying around. So for example, Shannon shared how to build full screen sections in Umbraco V8, and most of the people probably weren't aware that it's possible, and it is. And Shannon also rebuilt his package for blogs called Articulate, and introduced everyone to just check his repo and use it as a referring point on how to transfer or rewrite packages to support V8. And maybe in this topic, because by the accident, I've discovered that you were attending the packages meetings. How the group is called? It's a package. Tell us more.
So you might have seen Lee Keller put out a tweet a while ago asking for people like about packages, and then it went onto the forum, and you could apply to kind of form the Scrap community team. So we had our first meeting around that, long discussion over it, where we think we can, as a community, help each other to either create packages or support packages that already exist. So we focused a fair bit on looking at like the documentation and noticing that actually around package development there isn't much there, and maybe we can do something around in the documentation or even on the packages feed on our. But there'll be more to come. We just need to get some processing time between us all again and get moving. But it's coming along. We've had a meeting. There'll be more at some point, something more official than me rambling right now. When we get time.
The time is always an issue. I'm curious because it wasn't announced publicly who is the team member. Is it I don't know, solid or fixed team, or
Yeah, I think it's just a case of I don't really know. But at the moment we're at that really such an early stage that we don't know what it's going to be and what we're going to do. We all have ideas of what we want. So we're just trying to.
I have one idea, and maybe you can introduce it to the team, because you've mentioned that it's those videos from the meetings are recorded. Maybe sharing them or listing them on GitHub repository as a reference for.
It's something we have to do. We're going to be publicly open about it once we're in a position to be, I think is the way to put it. So the videos at the moment it's unlisted, but it's just because it was a lot rambling about how we're going to start looking at things. I think the plan is then to release it publicly and people be as open as we can be about stuff. Well, we'll be open. Because there's nothing to hide. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe everyone can find time to rewatch this video whenever it will be time for that. And this is exactly what ASP.NET community is doing. They are having meetings. They are live streamed, and people can join and watch. They can rewatch, and there are some notes after each meeting. So if you prefer to read, you can just jump there and see. Okay, they were discussing this and that, and this is not something what interests me, so I will just see in the next meeting notes, for example. That's just a suggestion, and of course it can improve the openness and visibility for everyone else. Cool. Other topics, other spotted things was for me something new, but I've heard about it earlier. So it's webhooks in headless, so you can communicate and chat between your solutions using webhooks. And I'm a big fan of integrating everything into Slack. I just want to use one tool ideally and have all the notifications there, and don't be distracted by anything else or being forced to use any other tools. And also we've seen the stats number of 1,100 pull requests being created last year for Umbraco. That's a massive number. It's I don't know how it's compared to the previous year, but it's a lot of pull requests. And we've been also discussing it with the PR team members earlier, that the speed of current process is improved a lot. That's great to see.
It's a real testament to the forming of that team and how they're taking the challenge on. as well. That so many of those pull requests have been merged as well, or at least handled in some way, not just left.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, we've been talking about packages, so maybe a quick section and highlight 2 packages being updated or released this week. Nathan released an upgrade for Tabulate package, and this is another package being adopted to work with V8 now. So from version 3.0, it works with V8. That's great to see, and Nathan also invited people to test and play around to see how it works and if there are any issues with it or not. Slack health check by Javan where it was also updated and is now working with V8, and we even have the flag here saying that it works on 8.0. That looks great, and hopefully let's see it on many more packages. And also I've found that Skybread and Anders shared the info that they are working on great package, in my opinion. Let me know if you also feel the same. The UI for package manifest, that's either on one side really simple thing, but from second when I'm thinking about it, it was always a pain to jump between those JSON files and edit it there. And it's something like what was done also for the grid editors, right? For in the Doctype editor.
It's something I always have to get to another one as well. I have to go to an old one, look and see how it is, and then remind myself to go back.
Yeah. So that's a great idea. Not ready yet. So if Anders is watching us, we are looking forward to have it released, and I will definitely use it a lot.
Yeah, sure. And I think with V8 as well, a lot more of those package manifests are becoming more complicated. They can do a lot more things. So having a UI to help that is going to obviously be a positive thing.
And Handy is also looking for some helping hands and minds, I would say, to work on new pickers, which is another really popular package, I would say, for V7, and it was even popular earlier for V6 and previous versions. So if anyone wants to be involved in the process of rewriting or adapting package used by thousands of people and thousands of instances to V8, ping Handy and help him to do that.
There's some brilliant renaming going on in that thread as well. If you haven't
renaming, Pikachu,
new pickers and things like that.
8 new pickers like as Umbraco picker. So you can also contribute and suggest the new name for the V8 version of this package. That's great to see. And Matt, did you attend any of the virtual meetups which were happening this week?
I missed the virtual meetup. The practitioners one, I rewatched the first one the other week. Got a few guys from work a bit more interested in it. He said he was going to watch back the second one at some point, so I need to catch up with him and see if he has yet.
Yeah, there are some recordings of them. I couldn't find them. I will try to find them and list them on those videos. And it looked an amazing agenda, and we couldn't have no one from the people who were speaking there today. But I hope that we will discover more about it and rewatch the videos soon from both of them and learn what happened on those meetups. And we had also another meetups. There was a meetup in Belgium. Where of course 8 version was discussed and some more interesting topics. We also had a meetup in Liverpool, and we've mentioned that last week. It's a Reborn group in Liverpool, and Kevin Jump and Mark were 2 Marks were sharing new stuff about packages, V8, and things related. And Matt, you've mentioned High Five You Rock, right? You were involved in this project.
Getting more involved in it.
It's coming soon, right? It's coming soon.
Yeah, it is, sure. Got all new, obviously, like new branding for it as well. It's going to be updated. There are plans to be just more than a Twitter feed as well on the site, but more of that when we get there. But there's things to come.
Cool. And you will be also on Code Garden, and I've seen some projects of the stickers of High Five Hero. So looking forward. Is it your informal deadline of delivery that you have?
I think it has to be, doesn't it? Really, if it's not there, then
That's why I said informal, because no one forced you to do that. So that's cool.
We'll put that pressure onto Owen, and we'll say, why not?
I just mentioned that here just to create a fake pressure. So we are looking forward to that. And from the blog perspectives, there were two great blog posts shared this week. One from Sebastian, who didn't write too many blogs lately, but it's about Hangfire for scheduled tasks in Umbraco. Great tutorial and blog post covering how to configure Hangfire with Umbraco and how it can be integrated even in V8, right? Because it was demoed and worked on V8. And the second one was from Heather Floyd about agency's guide to Umbraco content management system. And of course, it worked when I was opening it, but it's just not working now. Hopefully, because of the popularity of this article, because it's really, really, really great. And last thing, I
read it the other day. This is really good.
And the last thing which I found was this picture from Lars, and because he was accidentally pasted 1300 invalid rows in SQL Server, and Umbraco MVPR award was really useful in this case to help him revert the change. So and meanwhile he can grab the coffee or beer or just went to lunch. That's a great usage of Umbraco MVP award. I need to find some more use cases for mine as well.
I need to find a way of getting one.
You are doing well, Matt. You are doing a lot of great stuff. So it's just a matter of time, I believe, because
we'll find it.
we are. Those are only awards, and as we've also referring to Umbraco's activity, it's great to be awarded for something, but still. Is it something that force you to do that? No, probably.
Yeah, I think everyone who gets the MVP award doesn't do it for the award. They do it for the enjoyment of it and what they get out of it and what they give to the community, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
cool. So that were topics which we had prepared for this week. There's a lot of discussions on live chat happening, and those are the long messages. And maybe you didn't notice, but I suffer a huge infection of my eyes today, and probably after the umbraCoffee I will be done for this week and then take some rest. I can't read it, to be honest. So hopefully we'll address them after the live stream. And Matthew, do you want to add anything else to the topics discussed?
Don't think so. I was just going to try and open up the chat because I don't have it open.
And any great plans for the nearest Umbraco future on your side?
I need to have a look at my packages and see if they need work in V8 at some point.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I have a couple of ideas, things around images that I want to look at with the PNG 8 format and WebP formats, and seeing if we can help the user either automate that in a way that allows the site just to handle it, or a way that allows the back office user to visually see the difference and turn it on and off based on an image. So
nice.
But I think it'll be a pretty niche package because obviously the editor will need to understand why they want PNG 8 format over a PNG, etc. But in those places where it matters, it might be valuable to someone.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. Of course, we see each other on Code Garden, which is pretty soon and getting sooner and sooner.
Really need to book my flights.
Me too. So yeah, when we will be ending this live stream because we got very important things to do to just have a safe travel there. Cool, Matthew. Thank you very much for joining me on this last minute call.
You're more than welcome.
And have a great rest of the day and a great weekend as well. Thank you all for watching, and of course we see each other next Friday. Cheers.